What's a bare miracle?
When audiences leave the theater and look up at the sky after they see Nope, what is it that you hope they feel?
I've always been sort of daunted by the clouds. They're so beautiful, but when I see a big cloud right overhead that feels a little bit lower than it's supposed to be, I just always ask myself, what's in there? And yeah, I hope it's a little bit scarier to look up in the sky.
Proof of aliens on camera. The Oprah shot.
You guys gonna tell me what's going on?
Hell no.
Jordan Peele's horror mines the unpleasant truths just under the surface of American society. Whether it's a white family preying on a black artist to steal his gifts for themselves, or a legion of doubles we've abandoned underground to lead half a life, Peele's monsters are extensions of our culture's worst tendencies. As he's called them in the past, social demons. His latest film, Nope, positions M and O.J. Haywood as would-be, should-be Hollywood royalty, descendants of the very first movie star. In 1878, photographer Edward Muybridge was commissioned to produce a series of still images to prove all four of a horse's hooves leave the ground during a sprint. Those images of a jockey riding a horse, when viewed in quick succession, produced the first moving image, the first movie. And riding that horse? Well, in real life, we don't know. The jockey's name is lost to time, and that's part of the point. In Nope's world, that jockey was M&OJ's great-great-grandfather. And while the horse in motion catapulted Muybridge to fame, the Haywoods were left in the dust, trading on their association with the film in the only way available to them throughout the years, by training and providing horses for cinematic classics like The Scorpion King. The Haywoods' contribution to film history being roundly ignored is a painful erasure which Peele builds Nope's entire story around, especially as filmmaking becomes a focus of the families once again. Nope is incredibly reverent to film as a medium and treats shooting it as a powerful act. Jordan Peele explains why that was where he decided to root the story of Nope.
Well, I think, there was something about realizing that this industry, this art form that I've devoted so much to is built on this initial erasure of this person who is, for all intents and purposes, the first actor and stuntman and wrangler in film, and that person has been sort of tossed aside and become, is a character we don't even know. And so I thought, the fact that I get to make this film, this big summer blockbuster, from my perspective with black leads, in a way, Nope is it's sort of the sequel to that original film. It's sort of the answer to it, and the answer to that erasure. And it was only appropriate that the characters in my film were from the lineage of that original jockey.
And while neither Haywood sibling is happy with their station, they process that injustice against their family very differently, in ways that reinforce Nope's themes of erasure.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations, and I think it was just like, he hasn't got friends. He's hanging out with horses. So you don't speak, so then he gets used to not speaking. And then also a big thing was like, he's not his dad. He didn't inherit his dad's personality, Emerald did. You know what I mean? And so he always feels like, well, I can't talk like him, so I'm not gonna talk. And then we spoke a lot about that, about like him just being him. And then his dad died, and then he just didn't feel like talking.
OJ's crippling shyness and anxiety at performing in public isn't shared by Keke Palmer's M, who even within her own family felt excluded from what legacy the Haywoods have managed to hold on to the point where she is totally ready to let it go.
I think their perspectives and the way they feel about the ranch, like for instance, you say it's an erasure. I think it's an erasure that Emerald never felt a part of, right? Because she grew up as the only female really in her family. And even though she had all the skills that the dad had, it was kind of like always on OJ to really be the one. So she never felt a part of something. And then you have OJ on the other hand, who always felt a part of it. He knew maybe he kind of like, I don't have the other side of it, but like, I'm always here with dad. This is my main thing. And I have such a huge respect for it because I've always felt a part of it. And so his feelings of watching it die out are a little bit more saddening, and he wants to keep it alive, whereas opposed to Emerald's kind of like, how can we get rid of this because she's like, it ain't never really been there for me, no way.
OJ's tendency to keep quiet, to keep his head down, M's performative, pragmatic nature, they're responses born out of necessity, coping mechanisms for the hard fact that the Haywoods shot was taken away from them long ago. Horror often finds its characters processing pain from their past, which can take the form of whatever's plaguing them in the present. That's something that the voices behind Nope celebrate as a massive strength of the genre.
I think that, fear is this unpleasant emotion that we suppress. We don't deal with it, we try not to deal with it, and yet we need to deal with it. It's sort of human. It's there for a reason, and I think there's all sorts of ways we find our releases for our fears, and be it nightmares or horror movies or, really dark procedurals or something. And I just think it's very needed. It's very needed. We need to face these things in some way, and story allows us to do it in a safer, more comfortable way.
Man, if you do it right, the opportunity that you have to explore drama metaphorically with some type of creature, some type of, horrific, villain, it is insurmountable. But you got to really know what you're doing. Which is why Jordan is so beloved when it comes to this genre, is because he actually knows how to use fear and our psychological feelings around fear to create these magnificent stories. And when you do a horror right, you really have just a great movie. You have something that frightens people and makes them think. People on the edge of their seat, they're engaged like they would be with an action. And emotion, because the emotion is what ties the horror all together. You know what I mean? It's good. I love horror. That's why I love the genre.
The nature of Nope's UFO, the reason it's over the Haywoods ranch in the first place, that's something you should discover for yourself when you watch the movie. But suffice to say, the UFO and the way the Haywoods come to see it as their second chance as a family are at the heart of how Nope codes its discussions about erasure.
In many ways, the UFO is, it's a catalyst for the two characters to get together, and the journey that they go on, Emerald and OJ, to capture the video is the journey that's, I think, reignites their bond from just as a storytelling device. There's something about the UFO in question that represents the uncapturable, the impossible. And I think it is, in some ways, the victim of exploitation itself. One of the reactions that this movie, I think, represents for me is a reaction to the industry itself, and all of the ways that the monetization of spectacle contributes to our kind of soul deterioration as a society.
Yeah.
So, I think the fact that the family has been a victim of this erasure in the past and is sort of representing black people as it is, it just all contributes to this sort of the meta aspect of what I was trying to do with the film myself, and capture the impossible, create, make the film I'm not supposed to make, I'm not supposed to be able to make.
Asking the audience to consider uncomfortable truths while enjoying his films is at the heart of what Jordan Peele does as a director. Get Out, Us, and Nope invite dissection, consideration, and reconsideration of the context in which you're watching them. They invite you to look a little closer at the monster under the surface, or over your head, and ask yourself why it's such a scary thing in the first place.